AT&T to close downtown San Francisco flagship store. I can only wonder why. I didn't read the story yet. We just pulled it up. They say consumer shopping habits continue to change, and we're changing with them. That means serving customers where they are through the right mix of retail stores, digital channels, and our phone-based care team. He said there's still 2 AT&T locations within 1 mile of their financial district store. The closure isn't unique to SF. The Union Square store will shutter August 1st. A similar store in Chicago on Michigan Avenue will close on the same day, leaving the nation's only AT&T flagship store in Dallas. Interesting. I wonder why Dallas. I wonder what Texas might be doing to where they're okay keeping their store open, but Chicago and SF, not so much.
I think that somebody was just walking into the AT&T store one day and they're just like, that's just one crack needle too many. On their foot. They're just like, sorry, that's enough heroin in my feet for one day.
No, you know when they have to put all their phones behind vaults.
Yeah.
Didn't Walmart just say that in San Francisco also that they're eventually, I think they're going to shut down, but now they have everything. There's no workers there anymore.
Walmart is closing stores across the country because of crime.
Yeah.
I mean,
and Walgreens
it's everywhere. And for a lot of people, Walmart is their main grocery store. It's their main access to food. And so this is a big problem.
There's I think a Walgreens, I think it's in Chicago, where you walk in, there's no products. There's a wall with an iPad and you walk up and type in what you want.
That's what I was talking about. Chicago, I thought it was San Francisco.
And then they bring the items out to you after you pay. Wow, man. It's really funny because I remember when Amazon wanted to launch that store where there's no cashiers. You walk in, grab whatever you want and walk out and it automatically charges you.
Yeah.
I reached out to Amazon after figuring out a very simple way of bypassing the system. And they said, effectively, what I was told was that shrinkage doesn't matter that much because they save so much money on overhead by not having the staff to do checkout that they can absorb those costs. It's expected. But it is fascinating that they thought they could do something like that. I really don't think that'll work out in the long run because if people aren't scared to steal and walk past security, what do you think is going to happen when they walk into a building and there's nothing? There's nobody.
Yeah.
They're going to walk and take whatever they want, walk out. What are you going to do about it? You think a cop's going to go find a guy because he took $10 worth of food? Ain't going to happen.
Yeah.
Especially not in San Francisco if they have any there.
I mean, they're not even allowed to engage the police, even if they do see there. So
well, there's the $1,000 limit in SF. So if Amazon really tries to do these futuristic cashierless stores, people are going to walk in and be like, it's not even illegal to just take whatever you want.
I mean, it's if you're incentivizing people to steal, I've sadly learned this in life is that human nature does not always lean toward the best behavior. It tends to inherently head toward the worst. And you have to deter people on some level. And so it's, I have friends who work in department stores and they're like, we're not even allowed to even say anything.
Yeah. Do you have a physical store for their watches?
Nope.
No.
We've sold to retailers. I don't want an egg. It would be cool to have an Eggard physical store that would just have a showcase and I would like it just for the kind of legacy of the company.
Maybe in Florida.
In Florida, where I live now. I ran away from California. So.
Well, I was going to say because it's probably the only safe place,
Yeah.
You can set up in West Virginia. You'd be pretty good there. But in terms of higher density foot traffic in a big urban store, Florida's probably your best bet.
I think so, too. I think Florida's I have a buddy who opened a sunglass store over there, and he's doing really well. I mean, Florida's just become such a crazy hub over the past 2 years, 3 years. It's just exploded.
Yeah.
So especially South Florida, where I am, it's just the amount of change so quickly scares me on some level because I'm like, this cannot be sustainable. But so long as people are flooding out of the states you talk about, they're going to keep flooding into other states. And Florida, Texas, those are really desirable.
Well, come on, let's think about it. You have choices here. You can live in San Francisco, where you're going to step in human poop, or you can live in Florida, where there are beautiful men on the beach, ceviche. Nice man comes and brings you pina colada. You're sitting back, you put your feet up. No drag shows for kids, none of that. I don't know. You choose.
Is there any worry that there's a constant worry, right? That when people flock out of these cities, that they don't really think it through entirely, and then they end up bringing their voting habits to these other states, and then you have to worry about those states eventually slowly transforming over time because they don't connect in their brain that the things they were voting for were what.
Yeah, I was going to say, they never promised to leave their voting habits behind.
No, they don't.
I think DeSantis has proven that to not be something we should fear because he got 1 million new votes.
Because he's the exception, though, because of the Cuban vote and the fear of socialism. You do not necessarily have that from a left-leaning liberal who leaves California.
But Texas also did see a redshift.
Yeah, and didn't they also heavily restrict mail-in ballots in both those states?
They may have. Yeah, that could also be a big factor. I think two things. I think we talked about this before when Elon and Rogan leave California for Texas. It's not that they are bringing their policies; it's that they bring staff. The employees who work for their companies are not conservatives, and if they have to relocate for work or say, "Hey, it's an opportunity," then you're bringing liberal voters.
That is scary to me.
Yep,
If,
and a lot of
if
them.
Florida goes down, I got to run away again.
The last bastion. Well, there's always West Virginia,
All right.
but we've got our stuff happening in West Virginia too. Yeah, I don't know if I should talk about it just yet. Maybe we should wait.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, but
Oh
West
man, now I feel so.
there's
curious.
just woke stuff happening in West Virginia.
Oh, really?
And it's the second most Trump supporting state in the country. It's like 86% support for Trump. Most people here are
Every county in the state went for Trump.
right, and they're even where it's like potentially mixed, it leans still for Trump. It's close, but most people here who aren't even staunch conservative are just in agreement with us on most of these issues. And you're seeing this stuff emerge. And I think it's because the average person doesn't care. And I think it's because conservatives don't engage in community activism.
So the fundamental problem I see for conservatives in general, there's like a multifaceted kind of problem here that I see happening. I think one of the first things that you see that's really bad for conservatives is that they rely so much on individuality as opposed to kind of like a hive mentality that you see on the left. It's just far more effective because once you have a sense of kind of that hive mentality, it's that warm and fuzzy feeling I was telling you about in Hollywood. It's a really good feeling when you show up on set and it's warm and everyone's friends with you and you feel important. The left is very good at creating that sentiment across the board on everything they do, with messaging, with community, and the right lacks in that department. They're not emotionally driven. In their advertising, in their messaging, in their movies, like
because they feel it in the family. They keep that aspects for the family side of things, whereas the other side looks to find it in their profession.
It's an advantage, though.
It is. They also coalition build better, and they go door to door. Like I've never had a right wing political candidate ever come door to door to me with people reaching out to say, hey, how do you feel about this person? Would you want to vote for this person? But I've certainly had a lot of people come to my door. Like there's people like when it was like Craig Ellis in Minnesota was like, they're like, oh, he's here for attorney general. I'm like, isn't that the guy who beat his wife? And they're like, I don't know about that. I'd have to check on that. Like, but they like in that time period before that election, I had 3-4 candidates, all Democrats, had people coming door to door to talk to you about it, and I just don't see that.
Do you think part of that is because you were in a liberal city and so Republicans saw it as lost ground already? They didn't see the point in battling it out?
I don't know how the voting goes because like where I lived out there was fairly unique. I was in either direction. I was a mile from what would have been an urban center, meaning that that would have gone heavily blue, but then to the a mile the other way, and I'm in a very nice suburb.
But it only matters where the voting lines
are. So
right?
I don't know where
you didn't vote in the suburb; you voted in the city center. Like that's what you were voting for. So I feel like
they probably saw it as a lost cause.
Well, these were state level elections. These weren't even county or anything like this. So these would have been people like this is attorney general for the state, right? So they could have gone through the whole area. It wouldn't have mattered. So I don't think it would have been seen as ground lost. I just know that I get more text messages. You get the random text messages. It's never even under my name. It's for some person. It's like I've been getting text messages for a guy named Masood for like a decade, and I just never unsubscribe to it because I just expect it now around voting season. I like
invited Masood out for dinner.
I look forward. Well, no, they think I'm Masood. They're like, oh, Masood, have you thought about voting for this person? I'm like, I'm still Masood. It's kind of nice.
But on those lonely nights, you're sitting there and you're like, looking around. It's dark, and then your phone vibrates, and you smile. And
it feels good to be Masood.
Exactly. Want my phone. No, I think that Republicans famously are terrible at their ground game, right?
Yeah.
Like that's not anything new. What bothers me more is that it's their off season, right? Like we get it. You're terrible. I can say it 100 times. Get better at going door to door. Find some more innovative voter registration strategy. What bothers me more is in the off seasons. Right now, it's Pride Month. There are all these Pride parades. We're seeing all these things. These are moments where you're getting people who are like-minded together in a non-election year. There are not equivalents for conservatives, right? Like, where are some states have them, but like more county fairs. I would like lots of 4th of July, like block parties.
Yeah.
I want more things that non-political / leaning conservative people can go to and connect with other people and talk about, hey, what's going on in our community or our state or our nation, right?
And
I feel like that's what we are missing, the off-year community events.
And the fun behind it.
Yeah,
like
for
they're
sure.
missing, there's a disconnect somewhere in conservative messaging and events. And I don't, maybe it's because I'm like a hyper artistic person. I'm kind of like, in that sense, I'm very liberal minded. And there's a disconnect for me, and I can't put my finger on it with a lot of the stuff that is for the right, where I don't even want to attend the event. I don't even, I don't know what it is. I can't nail it down.
I think it's something, I don't know how much anyone follows this, but like the New York Young Republicans have really exploded as a club in the past couple of years. And it's because they made it fun. They do fun events. They have interesting speakers. It's a community group. And I think this is something that we are missing. I think it's easy for a lot of left-leaning people to get together when they feel outraged and they're going against the machine, even though we know they kind of are the machine at this point. And conservatives don't have those community moments. My favorite thing that Trump has said is that we need to have like a year-long celebration for the 250th anniversary of America,
That's
right?
awesome.
Like,
Yeah.
let's do this. Like,
Yeah.
that sounds fun. Even if you're not super into politics, it's just fun to have fun things to do.
You know what I think it is with the art? I think when it comes for the art, like you said, you're liberal minded when it comes to art, artistic endeavors. It's because when the right creates art, a lot of the times it reeks of a sense of desperation to win back something.
Yes.
That I don't like. I don't. Maybe I'm upsetting some people, but I heard the 81 million votes song, and I'm like. Just like this isn't working. Like there is, whether you like their messaging or not, there is more natural artistic drive on the left side of things, and now it's shoved into the entertainment full force now. But it wasn't always like that, right? So yeah, they could coalition, better, build better. And I do like the idea of more things that celebrate the country, right?
More fun, more patriotism.
But isn't it sad that anything that celebrates the country is now inherently a political issue rather than a bipartisan one?
Well, that's nuts in itself.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.